Hi grad students, this is part 2 of our ethics PowerPoint. So all students are required to have consent verbally and in writing. So it not like research methods where you give them a consent form, they read it and they're done. You have to explain it to them and make sure that they understand, and ask them repeatedly if they understand, and include those things like, hey, I am just a student, okay? All of the students who you're using, their information must be coded, so in terms of their identity, okay? This is strict confidentiality for you, and anonymity to me, except in cases of, a danger to themselves or others, okay? When you select the subjects, you should be very careful on who you're going to select. You're not allowed to use children or any type of innocence. If you remember in the research methods class, we talked about who was considered an innocent in their package, so in your packet. If you have your own children, I know the PowerPoint says that you can use your own children, but I think for this COVID session, I don't think that we're going to do that, okay? Again, once again, extreme care. We should use extreme care at all times. And this is to make sure that you're going to do it the right way, that you're going to be careful, that you're going to uphold ethical standards. And we don't want anything negative to occur during this course. And also, depending on what kind of instruments you decide to use as assessment tools, okay? If you are in doubt about what you should use or what you shouldn't use, please ask me. You can text me, you can call me, you can say, hey, I've got this person that I work with, and I know that they're having, issues with alcohol or something like that. Would it be okay if I use this, that, or the other thing? That's fine, okay? So I would rather have you call me and we discuss it, and before you start anything, then have you start something and then run into a hornet's nest, and then we don't know how to get out of it. So, knock on wood, that won't happen. We've had some really good luck thus far, so let's keep it that way, okay? If there's an ethical issue of any kind, make sure you do everything that is ethically appropriate. They might want to joke with you, they might want to pal around with you, they might ask you repeatedly, am I crazy? Which somehow they think that, the tests are going to show if they're crazy, whatever that means to them. Again, it's always best to say, I'm just learning this. Just learning it. So you have to make sure, again, that you're protecting them. You are not allowed to give any sort of remuneration. No home-cooked meals, no baked goods, no money, certainly no money, nothing. They're getting extra credit for doing this with you, but that's it, okay? So you have to make sure that you have a clear and fair consent form, which we're going to go over those in great detail before you even start, so that they know your obligations to them, and you know their obligations to you, they know their obligations to you, and that you are well aware of your obligations to me and to your class and to everything else. I know this sounds scary, but we're just trying to make sure that everything runs smoothly and that you get the best learning experience that you can from this, okay? If you make a promise to them, then you have to honor that. They might say, can I see the results of my study? And you say, no, we can't do that because, number one, I am just a student, and, it's just part of a packet, and all the stuff will be destroyed later on. Not your toolbox. You'll always get to keep your assessments, but their responses to you. Okay, once that's done, you're going to be writing a report. We're going to go into great detail about how to write a report. And they will not be mentioned in particular. Their pseudonym could be mentioned, but they will not be mentioned in particular. and you have an obligation to destroy that assessment after we're done with the class, okay? You're going to tell them what's going to happen every step of the way, okay? And they're going to reasonably expect you to abide by what you tell them, okay? You should never, ever, ever coerce them. If they say they don't want to do it or they show reluctance, you have to stop, okay? That's really, really important. And you can't cajole them and say things like, oh, come on, we're almost done, or something like that. If they can't do it or won't do it, or maybe one of the questions on the tool that you're using has upset them, you have to stop, okay? So there's that as well. You are obligated to ask questions of the subjects after explaining the procedure. Do you understand this? So you know that if this happens or that happened, do you understand what's going to happen? If they have questions, you have to answer all of them, okay? And make sure you do it in a way that they can understand. Okay, everybody is on the same page, okay? So you also have to make sure that you give them information in a way that is respectful to them, to their worth and their dignity, and the idea that they are volunteering and they're doing this out of the goodness of their heart, and that you're not going to do anything to harm them, okay? You're going to make them feel good about themselves. This looks really good. Thank you so much, because, you know, if I didn't have a volunteer, then I wouldn't be able to progress, and I'm really excited about it, and you get extra credit, and, you know, I get to have my class, pass my class. So make them feel good about it, and respect them if they tell you that they want to withdraw, okay? They will still get points if they withdraw, so you can reassure them of that. You know, if anything happens, you know, they don't have to stay in it if it's upsetting to them, okay? We haven't had that yet. It's just pretty standard testing, but, you know, this is just going over this to make sure you're on the same page with this. Don't try and change their mind at all, which we just said, and if they want to stop, again, like in research, you have to destroy everything right in their presence, okay? And that's it. And we'll work on getting you another volunteer. You want to make sure that you do not have conflicting or dual relationships, okay? If you know, I said you could use an employee only if they want to. No subordinate employees, so it can't be anyone you supervise. It has to be someone who's equal to you, okay? And similarly, don't force your grandmother to do something that she doesn't want to do, or anything like that, you know, or your cousins because they owe you a solid because they did something. Do not do that, okay? It has to be someone who voluntarily wants to do that, and not in a work environment especially. Don't do it at work. If you want to go for lunch someplace at a lunch hour and it's just your coworker, not someone you supervise or something like that, well, then that's fine. And never, 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 if you work in an agency, should it be a client. Okay, that goes without saying. So again, if you have any questions about who's appropriate, you know, there you go. If you're married and you want to do your spouse, that's okay. But again, that could get difficult. But we have had people do that in the past, and it's been fine. You also have to protect them from physical, emotional, mental harm, discomfort, and danger. Okay, that is with COVID. Okay, so again, social distancing, and anything that may come from that. Tell them that this is a confidential thing on both sides, so they can't go running around going, you know, I did this assessment. So and so's doing assessments. You should go do it. But they should be confidential about the whole thing as well. Okay. So if there's any kind of risk to them that you see that might expose them to something like that, you have to tell them that they shouldn't do it, okay? And this is very important. If you run into any kind of problem at all, anything that you know, hesitate, you're hesitant, you're questioning, go with your gut and call me, notify me. I'm always nervous when I teach this class because something could happen, but we haven't had anything yet, so let's hope we don't. But call me. I have my home phone, my cell phone, and my email, which I just noticed I have to change on the PowerPoint, okay? And you have to debrief them. As soon as you're done, you have to debrief them. And again, you're not going to be able to tell them results or anything like that. You're just done. Do not add up things right in front of them. Don't add up their scores right in front of them. Don't do any scoring methods right in front of them. Just say, okay, I'm done with this part. I am still a student, and, you know, go from that, okay? So don't do any of the summary kind of thing in front of them. Most of that you're going to do anyway in the final report. So it's generally not appropriate. Just say, hey, this looks good, and I have to add it all up and run it by my professor and see what we're doing, but all the reports will be written in a totally anonymous way and as a group, okay? So it's group data. Please and thank you go a long way. Make sure you show them that you're really appreciative of what they're doing, and you know, you can tell them a little bit about the program, like, you know, we're doing this as part of the program for my master's degree or something like that. But please and thank you, be respectful, give them dignity, treat them the way not only you think they should be treated, but professionally and the way you think you would like to be treated if the shoe was on the other foot. So you're going to get like 18 tests. You're going to, and it's wrong on the PowerPoint because they're still doing 2, 2, 2, 2, and on yours you're going to do 1, 1, 1, 1. This is just to get you to be familiar with the whole process, how to select the appropriate assessment tools, how evaluation works, how there'll be the first time that you're probably, for many of you, that you're actually doing this. And again, we're doing this on an individual basis. You're not going to give mass tests to a whole group of people. Okay, everybody, we're going to do this test. Everybody's going to do it at once. No. So you're going to look at what type of tests they are and how you're evaluating the test and how you're evaluating the person doing the test and how you selected the test and what are the number of tests to answer the questions that you have, okay? You can do a classmate on any test. However, everybody's going to be going over these tests. I'm going to be telling you about these tests, so you'd get skewed results. Like, we call that fake good. Some people are going to try and fake good, especially if they know the purpose and intent of the test. So while you can, if you're desperate, use one of your classmates, I would not recommend it. Okay, so that'll be very interesting to see if you do it. And then the last slide is your acknowledgement that you understand everything that we talked about in this PowerPoint and videos. And I expect you to print that up and hand it to me on September 12th. Okay? So if you have any other questions or anything like that, again, you have my contact information. Make sure you know, and better for you to ask and talk it out with me than you not ask and that situation. Okay? So I'm excited to start this with you. Okay, talk to you later.